Great. Today or tonight's session is about strategy. Strategy. A uh, lot of traders come and ask me questions. What do you think I must do with this? What do you think I must do with that? And then I answer them by saying it depends. Whenever you try and whenever you try and sound clever, you always start with the wrong answer. You give a straight answer without knowing what the real question is. Because when people ask a question, often they don't know actually what they're asking. So if you tell me, I want to buy Pepe Coin, do you think it's a good idea? Then I'll tell you, I'm going to try and sound not clever because what I've learned in life is you ask a question with another question, not just because you want to sound clever or you want to be a big deal. No, it's about I need to understand what your question is because at the end of the day, you can answer your own question. In many times, most people know the answers. They just need a little bit of guidance. So if you tell me, you want to buy Pepe Coin, is it a good time to buy now? Someone else will phone me the same day and say, yo, but Pepe Coin is going down. Should I sell it? Then I'm going to tell them, give them the same. I'm going to start with the same answer by saying, depends on your strategy. Tell me what your strategy is. And your strategy then determines how I'm going to answer you. So, before I have too many interruptions of the phone, let me make sure that it's on silent. I sometimes hear when some of the traders or the students are on call, they treat this call like a social call. They have TV in the background and the radio and the family talking, and it's like chaos. I'm thinking, you know what? It sounds like ADHD. You're not really listening. You're not really focusing because one of the things you need to know is, as a trader, you have to, it's almost like meditation. It's you need to sit down on your own, become quiet, and determine a strategy. Determine your day forward. Determine how you're going to treat this thing you call trading. Because trading, um, speaking about trading on a medium term, here's one of the biggest short-term trading strategies, trading coins you can trade right here in front of your screen. I can't, I won't have time to explain it now. This is a strategic coin to make a lot of money on, even though the markets move slowly, don't move big amounts. So a day trader. So there's three strategies. I'm gonna use simple terms, and then I'm gonna use less simple terms, but I'm gonna keep some simplicity ahead. If you come and ask me, is it good to trade US dollar tether to Rand, ZAR? Then I'll say, what is your strategy? Then you say, my strategy is I'm a short-term trader. I want to make a little bit of money every single day. Then I'll ask you another question. How much money have you got to trade with? Then you'll say 1,000 Rand or 5,000 Rand. Then I'll say, how much do you need by the end of the month? Now I need 30,000 Rand by the end of the month. Then I'll say, you can't trade this one to make 30,000 Rand at the end of the month with 5,000 Rand. You need like a Ponzi scheme. That's just a joke. But seriously, if you came to me and you said, I wanted to trade this coin on a daily basis, and I've got 100,000 Rand that I want to trade with, then I'll say to you, yes. How much do you want to make? I want to make 30,000 Rand a month with my 100,000. Then I'll tell you, good. You have now a good strategy, and I will teach you how to do this, because that's part of the training. You get the training from myself, and we have other traders that give classes also, or some of them in Gauteng that can assist you if I can't help you online or you don't want to pay higher fees. I'm going to show you in the signals and the tribe calls how to make 1,000 Rand a day using 100,000 Rand trading this particular coin. That's called a day traders. It's a short-term strategy. A short-term strategy is a trader that says, I want to make money every day so that at the end of the month I can withdraw profits and pay my bills. I've got debts to pay, I've got bills to pay, I need to make money. That's short-term. A long-term trader is not going to trade this coin. They are not going to trade any slow-moving coin. Now, slow-moving, even if you had $1 million or 2 or 5 or 10 million Rand, then trading the US dollar to the Rand would be a good long-term strategy. But in the case of short-term, wouldn't be. But then you're going to say, okay, there's a long-term strategy, there's a short-term strategy. What about taking this? Some days I have time. Some days I have the whole day that I'm doing nothing. Or sometimes, like we have this crime watch, neighborhood watch in town. And at night from 9 to 10:30, 11, I'm often out doing patrols, helping the community. There are people that say to me, I'm bored, can I come with you? I'm an ex-soldier, I'm ex-army, I'm a statistician, blah, blah, blah. So somebody that's got time, or some people say to me, I struggle to sleep. So, well, if you struggle to sleep, why not make money while you're doing it? That's short-term strategy. Now, there's a short-term and a long-term, but there's also the in-between, the medium term. And the medium term is normally just a combination of long and short term. So I can say, let's say I've got 100,000 Rand, I'm trading this coin every day. I'm trading up and down, selling, making 1,000 Rand, buying back again, making 1,000 Rand, buying back again, 1,000 Rand, buying back again. But then what happens is there's some days that, I mean, it might only happen once a day or maybe twice a day. So sitting in front of the screen all the time is not great. Then I'd rather take something like Doge or Doggy coin. I always give different pronunciations because no one ever says it correct. So I say, okay, here's a coin. If you got a day, you got 1 or 2 or 3 days to trade. You want to make some nice profits. You can make maybe 8% in a day, and I can do some nicer trades over here. The only downside is when I'm trading, I have to look at what's the volume. What is the volume in 24 hours? How much money went through these trades? So the volume was 102,292. So 410,000 rands of trades went through Dogecoin in the last 24 hours. Let's put it in what happened with the US dollar in 24 hours? 1.131611. Sorry, 1131. Okay. There was 19 million rands of sales in 24 hours. So now we have a different story. So if you got big amounts of money, then you can make profit. But if you're on Dogecoin, so let's recap a little bit. There's a short-term strategy for people with lots of amount of money, which is ideal using US dollar tether. If you got 50,000 Rand, you can make 500 Rand a day or 500 Rand a trade, provided you make that 1%. If you got 100,000 Rand, you could make 1,000 Rand a trade. You could do that once a day or once at least 18 to 20 times a month. That is 100,000. But let's say you got 200,000, then you can make 2,000 Rand a day or per trade. So that would take your 30,000 to up to 60,000 Rand a month that you can make. Folks, I'm not talking about this Ponzi scheme that you tell me, what do you think about this? It's giving me 1 or 2% per day. That's giving your money to some other idiot that thinks they know what they're doing. And all they're doing is they're paying the other guy that signed you up a commission, and you'll never see your money again. No, I'm saying I'm showing you ways you can make money on your own, using your own money with common sense and brain cells that are working and not lazy to do trades. Now, some of the trades that I'm showing you now you wouldn't do more than once or twice or 3 times a day. In other words, a certain time of the morning, these trades go ballistic. Before 9, 10 in the morning, you have your 1% or your 1.5%. And then all you need to do is place a new trade. This is short-term trading. This is not sitting in front of the screen all the time. That's on big amounts. If you're a short-term trader and you've got small amounts, let's say you've got 1,000 Rand or 5,000 or 2,500 Rand. I had, and some of you might have remembered me telling this story. I had a guy, his name was Malorsi, and Malorsi was a taxi driver, well, a taxi owner. He had 2 taxis and he had 2 drivers. Eventually, he stopped driving himself, and then the taxis went to ruin. And eventually, they were standing in bricks in the complex that he was staying in Pretoria North. And then his wife said to him, "You can't sit and do nothing all day. You need to go and learn to trade. There's a guy that teaches trading, and you need to go and learn from him." He started with, I think, 1,000 Rand or 800 Rand, and he put his first money into trades, and he listened carefully and he caught onto what he needed to do. And in 6 months' time, he was sitting on about 130,000 Rand in his trades. Now, in the meantime, he'd put in about 4 or 5,000 Rand that his wife gave him from her salary to help boost the trades. But Malose said to me, because he couldn't believe the amount, he wanted to make sure that I had taught him right and the numbers were correct. And he told me that in the time that he traded, the 6 to 8 months that he was trading, because all my traders, when they sign up with my trading program, I actually put the date on next to their name. I think it was like the 6th or 8th of April. In December, he came to see me and he said, "I have used some of this money to pay bills and help my family. And look at how much I have now." So he had made a lot of money doing normal spot trading, nothing of this leverage trading. So if you come on my call and you start talking leverage trading and not spot trading, I just won't entertain that, because I don't entertain gambling trading. That's gambling. I'm saying if this price goes, this particular coin went from 4 Rand 2 cents to 4 Rand 41, and whoever made the trade made up to 9.6%. That is spot trading. That is everyday trading. The old-fashioned way of trading, but with a modern way of not expecting brokers to take money off you. So if I place a trade, if I'm going to say I'm going to put 1,000 Rand into Dogecoin now, it's going to be, sorry, I'm going to put it the other way around. I'm going to put 1,000 Rand into Dogecoin. I am going to get 248.88, etc., coins. I'm going to pay 0.248% Doge as a fee. That is 0.015%. So on 1,000 Rand, I'm paying 1 Rand. I'm paying 1 Rand for every 1,000 Rand as a fee. So that's minimum fee. If you'd sign up with any brokerage, they're going to pay you, you're going to pay 5, 10, 15% fees. Let's get back to short-term, medium, and long-term trading. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you that there's 3 strategies. The one strategy is I want to get into the trade now. I want to make money. What's the average I can make per day or per trade? I can go and measure each one of these trades and say, on the best, I'm going to make certain 6 to 8% per trade. I just need to make sure that I bought low enough. The long-term trade is I'm going to say, okay, I want to trade this long-term. How do I strategize my long-term trade? So planning your trades, you're going to need to have it. Let's put it on 1 week. So on my 1 week trade, I can see from where the price went all the way to 8.73 Rand to where the price is now. Let's make this full screen. To where the price is now, we're sitting on 4 Rand, 3.98. So the price has been double the price. As a long-term strategy, I think this is one I can trade. I can possibly, as a long-term trader, I want to draw my support line and say, all right, but it could still come lower. I'm going to put some support lines, horizontal support lines, and make sure if it does drop, I have money to buy on these particular places. So 1 Rand 20, 1 Rand 70, sorry, 1 Rand 77, 2 Rand 72. I could still expect the markets to drop to these prices or to there or to there. It's possible. Although I don't think it will go lower than this 1 Rand 77 price. This is a long-term strategy. So in other words, you don't have time to trade. You're still interested to know how can I make money in the markets, and you can place multiple trades down to any of those 2 prices. But then where will it go from here? And that's when we use a long-term trader is going to use the Fibonacci and say, okay, I'm going to predict the future. I'm going to use my Fibonacci and say, as a long-term trader, I'm just going to put this like this because this is most likely. There we go.